What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Texas to Tennessee podcast, Mile Zero edition. It was my first time headed down to Key West for the festival, and it was pretty awesome, to be honest. With all the artists that we were able to interview, is about 20 or so. So hit that subscribe button to keep up with those as they're posted. But I have to say the Mile Zero crew was nothing but amazing, to be honest. All the hospitality and all the kindness that we were shown just from a little old podcast, and plus all the folks that we met in the crowd and all the artists that we met. Just walking around, you could pretty much bump into all kinds of folks. So it's an amazing experience. If you've never been, you should definitely. If you're a fan of the Americana, Texas, country, Oklahoma scene, whatever you want to call it. It stretches all the way across the board, to be honest. But definitely, you should cross that off your bucket list. But before we get into the episode, I want to make sure to shout out the folks that helped me and my crew get down there. The links for these folks, these amazing folks that helped this guy get down to Key West for a week. I really do appreciate all of them. Like I said, the links are going to be in the description, so please give them a little love. That would be Breakers Marina, Robot Monkey Venue, Cowboy Chuck, shout out to Chuck, and 797 Distillery in Covington, Tennessee, my area of the world. So thank you for the local folks for helping out. And then also just a friend of the podcast, Mr. Joe Eskridge Music. Joe is a supporter of all things independent music, and especially in the West Tennessee area. I appreciate Joe on many levels, and especially for helping out the podcast. So, check out this episode. See ya.
You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists, and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
Welcome to the Texas to Tennessee podcast, Mile Zero edition.
Yeah, a little overcast, but still gorgeous.
Oh yeah. This is my first time, so I'm soaking it all in.
It's my first year playing. The last couple of years I came down, fly down just for a couple of days to see, hang out with friends and drink a little bit too much, maybe for one night.
Understand.
And then hop on a plane and go back to Texas. But this is my first year playing, like actually getting up and doing shows. So I'm stoked. I got a show here in a couple hours, so can't wait.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about it a lot as far as Steve, the co-host with me, and he's in the Fort Worth area, and he's always, I'm going to see this person Thursday, this person Friday, and I'm like,
Fort Worth specifically, but Dallas Fort Worth, but Fort Worth specifically is silly with music.
Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like,
you get down to the 817, move out of
Memphis,
West Tennessee.
I understand.
Come down there, you can see live music.
I've seen every now and then we get people trickle through. And Dale Watson's got a place over there. We try to mention Hernando's quite a bit, just because Dale's,
I heard about that.
Trying to do the thing, and which is not easy. So they try to bring people in, which is not easy.
I absolutely agree, and good for him to be doing to take a chance like that. And I like Dale. We've met a few times over the years. Dude's a Texas legend, obviously, but I hope he does well.
This place is like Elvis played there, Jerry Lee Lewis played there. So for Dale to have it makes complete sense.
It absolutely means something. Yeah, totally. That's cool.
Yep. But we've seen Hood and Edie and all kinds of folks roll through. So thanks to them for that.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was a venue around that we bring in Stoney, and I've seen Ragweed in town and different places. But anyway. But I'm still jealous.
Forward.
Just
Texas in general, Texas, Oklahoma.
Did y'all you were talking about flying here to see all your friends play or whatever, but you can see them, y'all, folks out in that part of the world, y'all can see each other all the time, which I'm jealous of.
Well, in my defense, the reason I would fly down here the last couple of years just to hang out for a couple of days is because I stepped away for so long, for 7-8 years. And so I wasn't really in any kind of pipeline. I wasn't hanging out with, certainly not music friends, not seeing them, the way you would if I was out running the road too.
Gotcha.
And so I just kind of went, as I started going, well, I know I'm going to start writing again and start, getting back to it on some level.
Okay, I got
I know
you.
I want to come out and see all my boys and my girls. And so fly out and hang out for a few days and just kind of see what it's about. I had heard really cool things about this festival specifically. And this festival started after I'd already stepped away, you know what I mean? So I'd never, not only had never been to Key West, there was no kind of festival to be interested in Key West at the time. So, and I was kind of curious about that. The reports after the first couple of years coming back from friends in music was that it was really cool, it was really fun, different, chill, laid back, that kind of thing. So I thought, well, I'd never been to Key West, let me fly down and see it. And so the last couple of years I did, and then when I released Tx2Tn, which is that EP a few months ago, fall of last year, and I knew I was going to kind of start playing again, and they were kind enough to ask me to do it this year. I was like, let's go. I would love to. Can't wait.
Good
so that's
deal.
what we're doing.
We'll talk about that EP. It's a nice segue. That's very
Professional, huh?
How did that come about? You working with your buddies on that?
Well,
I mean, I'm sure you've known each other for a long time.
No, me and Wade Bowen produced it, and he and I go way back. We started together in music, really, as young pups, and I love him. I can't say enough good things about him and what he did with the project. We were in far west Texas, in Big Bend, in a town called Terlingua, Texas, it's on the Mexico border. And we were hanging out, and he said, listen, when you come back, we were just, apropos of nothing, he just said, when you do decide you want to start writing again and come back and play music or whatever, I'm starting to produce a lot of stuff. I'm doing some stuff with me and Randy with their Hold My Beer stuff, and it's really fun. It's really, I think I'm getting good. I think I could be good at it, So let's do something when you want. I was like, yes, absolutely. It has way more to do with I get to hang out with my buddy, my really good friend, and do something fun than it has to do. I mean, honestly, if it turned out it sounded like shit and like it was recorded in a trash can, I probably wouldn't have cared that much because of how much fun we had. So it wasn't about record sales or anything like that.
You weren't going
in
in
about the
with that.
experience.
Different
now it just so
intentions.
happens that Wade is really good at it, and it was a lot of fun. And because I'm proud of the songs and because I like what was on there, it was the process was flawless. It was really easy and fun, and the musicians were great, and the songs were solid, and he killed it, in my opinion. The thing sounds really good,
right?
And so we're gonna continue to do that. I'm writing the new ones now. I got a new batch of songs that I'm close to finished with. So sometime in the next few months, we're gonna get back in the studio and do another batch and put them out. And as far as I can see, at least for the near future, that's kind of the way I want to do it, And if Wade wants to keep working together, depending on, if we're both still having a blast and the songs are any good, then I will, for the foreseeable future. I like doing it this way, putting out 6-ish at a time, just when I get them ready, rather than, I don't know, every 2 years having 12 or a full album. It seems to me it's easier for my brain and the way I write to get 5 or 6 that I go, oh, I like these. These are really good.
Yeah. Rather
than struggling to find 12 all in a time frame that the producers or the label or whoever it is wants you to do it on. This is just when I write 5 or 6 that I like, then I'm just going to record them and put them out.
Is this all in-house for you?
Yeah, it always has been. I've always paid for everything I've ever done.
Okay.
Debt and obligation are giant fears of mine.
Understand.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if I'm going to do something like this, then people don't need to be. I don't want to be asking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's people paying for it, whether it's labels or I don't know how people do it these days, big donors or backers, things like that. No, I just when I had the money, I put something out, and if I didn't have the money, I didn't.
Gotcha. So Lost Boy, was that that was all you as well?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I did that with a guy named Dwight Baker. We did it in Austin. I had taken like 5 years between the second album that I put out and the Lost Boy album. And it was kind of the same situation that I just went through, except I was too young and dumb to really step away and take a break. But I'd taken a while and I didn't write anything that I liked. And till eventually I went into the studio. I had to go because it was already booked with Dwight, but a lot of the stuff wasn't finished. So I laid down on the floor of the studio for about, I don't know, a few days. And with Dwight's help, crafted some songs into something that was listenable and that I could play every night and that I was proud of. And it actually turned to be a really cool group of songs as an album, totally, and people really liked it. So it kind of put me on, I think I already had a footprint, but it really kind of put me on the map, certainly down here, we're not in Texas, but certainly in the South and Southeast, it did a lot. That album did a ton for me. And having Finger on the Trigger, the Brandon Jenkins tune, Brandon and I were really good friends and really tight, and he had put that out a few years before on an album, and it never never caught the way I maybe thought it should. It was such a really good song, really well written. And so when I went in to do that Lost Boy album, I just called him. I said, "Hey, I want to do Finger on the Trigger. I'm gonna do a little bit different than your version, but I want to do it." He's like, "Cool, yeah, go ahead. That'd be awesome." And then that turned into a thing. People really enjoyed that version of it, in whatever capacity. So it lifted that. There's that and a couple other songs on that album lifted that, and it got some love and a taste of national. Kind of like, hey, look at this is happening. Nothing giant, but started filling venues more often and playing cities and towns that maybe I couldn't have gotten in before that, with people there. So it really, I don't know, it set me off on a different career path, which I'm happy for. But then when I put out the record after that, 18 months later or whatever it was, again, I think it was rushed and not exactly the way I kind of wanted it to be. Now there's some really good stuff on there, I think, and it did well, and people, I think overall, the people that are into this kind of music dug it, but it was never like the stuff that was on Lost Boy, because Lost Boy took 5 years and a whole lot of, frankly, fucking up in life to happen, what I mean? Like a lot of whatever, just stuff had to happen to kind of get some of that out of me, and then the second one didn't have near as much as that. So, which makes this new project, or the project that just came out, to the end, so much more interesting to me, because I had a big well to draw from.
Stuff to say.
Yeah, I had something to say. That's all. It's even if it's shit, as long as it's authentic, you have to respect it. I don't care who it is, And if you don't, you're a dick. That's all. And this is it's authentic. That's all, and that's all I've ever wanted. And so, as long as these groups of songs that I put out over the next however many years, 5 or 6 songs at a time, as long as they're authentic, and I go, I'm into it. That's all that matters to me. I don't,
You hope people enjoy it, but
totally, yeah. But you can't tell me it sucks.
Right.
As far as my perspective, you can say I'm not into it. There's a lot of songs like that that are massive that I'm like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Have zero problem if you say that about everything I've ever done. I get it.
Odd how different things connect with different people.
100%. I don't take myself seriously at all, but I take what I do really, really seriously. And so as long as the words are authentic, and one of the most important things to me is if it reads well, take the music out of it. If you put it on a page and it makes the point, it's poetic on some kind of level, and it makes you feel anything at all, then that's the job as far as I see it.
Well, when you were on the break, did you have buddies always asking you when are you gonna get back into it?
Yeah, well,
I mean I'm sure a lot of them, especially close to you, knew why you were
well, no, actually, no. To be honest with you, okay. I didn't. There was no fanfare. There was no announcement. There was not even social media stuff. When I stopped doing it, my mom passed away in April of 17. And I was in the midst of just going hard, still touring as hard as you could, just same shit, different day. Really getting burnt out. And that was a rough one because then you kind of have to help put together the family again. And she was, this giant thing in my life. But I still, so I canceled. I had a bunch of shows, obviously, on the books for the next however long. I had to cancel all those because I wasn't able to do them because I was back and forth to Dallas and doing family stuff and all that kind of thing. But I had contractually had to do some dates in Europe. So I had to fly over there and do some French festival and I think a couple of Italian dates. And so those were the last dates I did before this past year. That was in the summer of 17. And then when I got back from those dates, those Europe dates, I didn't do anything. I didn't, those dates, everything was wiped off the books because of my mom passing away, and I just never went back. So I didn't tell anybody. I just said, I'm just gonna sit here. And for 6 months, and it turned into 7 years or whatever. But there was no plan. There was no like, well, I'm gonna get my shit together, or I'm gonna get right, or I'm gonna self-care, or I'm gonna take a vacation. It was none of that. I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to get on another tour bus or another, for half the time in another white van or whatever it is, I just didn't. I didn't want to.
You were just I
didn't have anything to say.
It would have showed. It would have been forced.
It absolutely would have been. It wouldn't have been authentic. People would have paid hard-earned money to come see my dumb ass sit up there, and half of me wouldn't have cared. And it's just not fair. It was gross, and I didn't want to be in that headspace. So, like I said, it was supposed to be for a couple of months, and it turned into 7 years. But to your point, it's not like I called a bunch of friends or whatever.
No, were they messing with you though? Were they like, hey, Wade, Wade, or whoever?
Well, right.
Name drop anybody.
For the first 18 months or so, 2 years, I would get calls.
Then after that, they're
about
like,
that. But then after that, they were just like, well, he'll let us know. I mean, we still talk and stuff, but they weren't like, so when are you putting something out, or you want to come out and play this show with us, or
they probably understand more than anybody.
They totally get it. Yeah, I just don't.
That makes sense.
It's just really, really hard to step away from this and make it go, because you have so many obligations with people on your team. Your band. I mean, your employees is a bad way to say it, but I mean the people that you work with every day. You're paying their salaries. So if I go, to get my head right, I need to step away for 6 months. Well, what are these fucking people going to do? Try to hustle and find a gig.
That made it harder for you to.
For all of us. I'm assuming for all of us.
I understand. It makes sense.
For years, I'd be like, I cannot. Just give me a while, and be like, okay, so how am I going to pay my bills?
Which is understandable. All of it.
No, I mean, nobody ever said that. It's just what I'm saying.
Understand.
Is that I didn't want to put them in a position for that. So you just bust your ass and you play wherever it lets you, and you make as much money as you can, and you try to sell records, and you get up the next day and do it all again. So my head's totally different now. I'm actually a grown up now, and that's just not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to write songs, and if people like them, cool. If they don't, I understand.
This just I don't know. When I found your music, we've talked about this before as far as what led me to the Texas, Oklahoma, whatever music, whatever you want to call it. And I struggle to remember, you know what I mean, because I didn't grow up in it. I found it later, once you kind of get off of country radio, and I saw Ragweed open for Dirks in Memphis, and that was possibly part of it. And also,
I can't tell you how many people that have had that same thing happen. Yeah.
Way early on, I was a Blackberry Smoke fan, and that, even though it's not the same, it leads you back to the circle.
Tangentially, yeah, it's got tentacles all in the.
So you're one of several people. I think Matt Mason probably falls in this category, and several folks that I knew the music, didn't know your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, you were on your break. So I never saw interviews with you. Right. I didn't, you know what I mean? But I knew the songs. And then when Steve's like, hey, Blue might, hop on the pod, and I'm like, well, I've been listening to this shit for a long time. You know what I mean? But one, shows that come through, we talked about that before, shows don't come through that sound that much. And so that makes it difficult. And then when you're on the hiatus, and I'm sure like a lot of musicians, you're not necessarily just loving social media. That's not
my strength.
Right, understand. So You know what I mean? Then when I was like, and also what I'm sure I saw, it was 10, 12 years ago too,
Yeah.
But that's
Totally different dude, pretty much,
Well,
which is
can-
we all are.
I
I guess
can relate.
about every 10 years or whatever it is. That saying that's like every 7, 8, 9, whatever years you're essentially a totally different person than you were.
I hope I like the next guy even more than I do.
Yeah, no kidding. I do. Like I'm blessed to be able
Me
to
too.
say when it comes to that specifically, I'm way more a fan of who this guy is as a songwriter and a human being than I. Not that I look back and I'm like, oh my God, it's a terrible dude. It just you look back and you go, what were you thinking?
I'm more
sometimes?
comfortable being me at this
Comfortable in your
point in
own
time.
skin, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Musically, that's what this is. I don't think I was ever born to be sitting in front of people with a microphone. It's never been something that's truly comfortable for me. But in terms of where I'm at now, it's the most comfortable I think I've probably ever been.
Even in life as well.
Yeah, no, totally in life. I mean, I got my kids and my wife and my home. We got this whole kind of ecosystem life thing going on outside of the music thing, which I never had before. I was always never been married, never had kids and all that stuff. It was always just road shows, loud booze, whatever, that
the
all
whole
part
thing.
of it. And it's totally it's a whole different world now. I'm not totally comfortable in it yet, but I think I'll be there because this is the very beginning. If I talk to you again in a year, or 18 months or whatever, I bet the conversation is going to be quite a bit different because then I'll have, hopefully 100 shows under my belt and I'll know and maybe 2 more projects out.
Balancing the whole
Yeah, and I'll
thing.
know a little bit more kind of who I am,
Well, at least now, your buddies that we talked about, they're probably dealing with the same stuff as far as now. They got the families and the all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same boat.
Of all my, kind of close friends in this business, I was the last one to kind of have the family and the marriage and the settle down part of it. But seeing them and their offspring kind of grow up, and some of them I was at their births, at the hospital, and some of them, saw soon afterwards as little.
And now you get it.
But yeah, when it comes to like Wade's kids or Dirk's Canada and all that whole crew, I've known them all since they were
Right.
teeny. So it's interesting, and I kind of get it now. As I've got this, I'm in the same boat now. But since I was the last, I'm still kind of learning the ropes.
I understand. All right, real quick, we want to know what went on. We're going to see Stoney later. He's playing downstairs at the Margarita.
I think what time?
I think it's 2:40. Unfortunately, Taylor Honeycutt was supposed to be here at 3, and now she's had a show pop up. So
Well, I want to go to that Stoney. I got a show here in like an hour, but I I'll try to come over to that Stoney show.
So we need to know what went on with the Pirate Museum with you and with
What
Stone.
went on? Well,
tell us the story.
well, I mean, there's no. It's just. Look,
We
me
need
and
to-
Stoney go way back too, right? And
Right.
so he and I are very tight. He's one of my closest friends in this business. Wade, same way. I mean, look, all of it. Me and Randy Rogers, Jason Boland, Ragweed to a certain extent, but they were really kind of cruising a couple of years before that, like really
Right.
getting out, like people really knew who they were. So they were, when me and Wade and Stoney and Randy to extent too were noobs, Ragweed was cruising, and so we were trying to kind of get our name out of there. So I guess Ragweed, that group was kind of in it too, but they were kind of above us, for sure above us. But I mean, the point is, we did a lot of dumb stuff back in the days, in a very great way, in a very juvenile way, but in a very great way. So we've got stories for days about just being idiots or drinking too much and tripping or whatever, or being morons. And the Pirate Museum is just another example. There was nothing that, I can't even. Some of it I can't tell, but I mean, there was nothing crazy that happened. It's just me and Stoney went in here in Key West 2 years ago into the Pirate Museum and just acted like 6-year-olds. And he, I can't say that no substances were involved.
I understand.
But we certainly weren't dummies,
Right.
about it. We weren't walking in places trying to get arrested or end up on the internet. But we did cruise around the tiny little pirate museum here in Key West, and we made it our home for about 2 hours in a way that, if most people could see it, would probably laugh, and it would go online and people would have a good time with it. But there was nobody got hurt, no nudity, nothing like that. Just good times by two grown men who were a little high going to the pirate museum. That's it.
Well, welcome to Mile Zero.
That's it. Mile Zero. I got to tell you, man, this place is really, really great, and the fact that they allowed me to come up here and play this year is really cool, and I hope I come back a lot because this town is neat.
Yeah, I think we all agree the same thing. It's my first time, and flattered to be.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you for having me on, man. It's really cool. West
Yes,
Tennessee is a cool part of the country. I've only been through it many, many times on the way to the East Coast or to Nashville.
I understand.
I've never been invited to play, but I hope Memphis is a great town, and if there's a cool venue, I would love to come play it anytime. If you can put in a word and tell them to holler at us.
Hey, Dale, Celine.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dale, Celine.
All right.
Dale and Celine.
Yeah.